ECOWAS, SADC, and all these this. They must shut up and stop the hypocrisy. They want to go to Niger to fight. They've not even been able to gather themselves to go and silence the war in Congo, which has been going on for more than 100 years. The bourgeoisies who are running Africa Union and ECOWAS, I want to send a clear message to them. A clear message to them. The honeymoon is over of lying to Africans. These coups that you are seeing that are happening, it's just a beginning. We are going to be seeing more coups. And why are we having more coups? Because the young people are finally waking up to discover that political freedom without economic freedom is continued slavery. So our African presidents get into power, sign treaties with the Europeans, the Chinese, and the Americans, who protect them while they're in power so that they can continue to abuse and steal money from their own people. Look at the president of Guinea, Conakry, who donates 25 million US dollars to rebuild a temple in France when his own people don't have clean water. But this is the obsession of this francophone, Paris. You want to be known in Paris, but you don't want to be known in Zanzibar. You don't want to be known in Arusha. You don't want to be known amongst your own people. This is the stupidity of African leadership, where you steal money from your own people and go and bank it in Switzerland. You bank it in Norway, you bank it in London. Money from your own people. You move those monies and hide them somewhere. Mobutu Sese Seko, the billions that are sitting in the Swiss bank right now, even the Congo people can't access that money. And these people are coming around telling us about human rights. And human rights, but your economy is actually thriving on stolen money from an African leader whom you know, and your government is actually benefiting from that money. France, as we speak right now, is harvesting more than 500 billion a year from the African continent. You put your money in French banks, and when you want the money back, you are going to pay interest on your own money. So these leaders who want to be known as French door boys, I call them door boys. Even in one of my videos, I call them the hoofing dogs. Those that bark outside when the colonial system is sleeping on Egyptian cotton inside their house. So our presidents are literally security guards who bark around the building, woof, 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 to protect the system. So every African government which does not ask the questions that I'm asking becomes a crime scene. Because you cannot be in power to disempower your people. This is the foolishness of the African people. When we go to vote, we vote for people who don't have an agenda for transformation and change. And we wonder, why are things not changing? Because the manifesto is not a manifesto of managing political strife. The manifesto must be that of transforming a society. Look at China. How have they done it? Look at America. How have they done it? Look at Europe. How have they done it? Why are our children drowning in the Mediterranean? Where are they going? What are they looking for? They're looking for opportunities. They're looking for employment. What is employment? Employment is factories. What is factories? It's taking raw materials from the ground, putting them into an industry, creating jobs, selling final products. So here in Niger, there is uranium, there is gold. Here in Zimbabwe, there is platinum, there is lithium. Here in South Africa, there is iron. Here in Botswana, there is diamonds. There is what? Instead of our leaders thinking, how do you develop what I call productive, societally driven value chains? From, I wish I had all the money. I would get on the mine, dig up the lithium, follow the truck from the mine to Durban, jump on the ship, follow the lithium to China, get off the ship, follow the lithium to the industry, follow the lithium to the manufacturing floor, follow the lithium. How many other minerals are in this? You find that there are 18 to 20 other minerals, which the Chinese are not paying for. They're just buying ore. They get there, they separate these minerals. They take the other minerals, it's for free. And then they take that, they make the batteries, solar panels, and what storages of power. Elon Musk is buying the batteries, and. Then you stop as a government and say, there is nothing wrong, and this is the stupidity of democracy. The government cannot be seen to be doing business. The government can't be doing business. Their business is to regulate these educated fools who populate our parliaments. You can only talk about government cannot do business when government is fully functional, like American government. What does that mean, therefore? You create SOPs, state-owned enterprises, in the railway system, in the mining system, in the water, in the power development, and etc. And these institutions then create the jobs. What's the moral of the story of you taking stones from Africa, shipping them for 5,000 kilometers across the ocean? You make lithium batteries, then you ship them back in containers, 5,000 kilometers. And you come and sell those batteries at 8,000, 12,000 rand, small little block of lithium, which now they call a battery. Which is better to actually manufacture the batteries right here at home and then sell the batteries directly to the world? How many jobs will you create out of that? It is that kind of conversation we now need to start having. Zambia cannot be constantly exporting copper to the whole world, and they can't even produce one cable. One cable in Zambia. You can't be constantly sending cocoa and coffee to Europe. You can't even produce one bar of chocolate in Tanzania, in Kenya. We can't. So the politics has to change. And we are beginning to see the military young people getting frustrated with old liberation dogma. We brought the country, we fought for this country, we fought for the country. Yes, you fought for the country, but we still don't have clean water. We still don't have a hospital. We still don't have this. Why can't we have it? Because all the money is going to the same system that was colonizing us. Our leader is just managing that project. Anglo-American companies are running African economies. Come to South Africa here, the Oppenheimers and the Ruperts are running, go to Zimbabwe. Same thing, the Lonros, Anglo-Americans are there, go to Zambia. Glencore is there, go throughout Africa. You find these multinational companies that have their hands cooking the African economy. It's not allowed to function. It must just produce raw materials. It must just produce raw materials. We know what to do with the raw materials. Can you even believe that the Hiroshima bomb was actually made by the uranium from Africa?
Congo.
Niger has no power, but is the highest, one of the highest producers. 15% of all uranium that is in Europe is coming from there. In France is running its power station from Niger, while Niger has no power.
And it's actually on the bottom 10 poorest countries in the world.
But the top when it comes to uranium production. So instead of you worrying about politics, I think the real business is not politics. The real business is economics. We needed to change the conversation from political slogans to economic slogans. How do we transform our resources into industry, into production, into employment, and create, and if there is anything we are able to leave our children with, it is the Zimbabwe model. Take your land, all of it. There is a big risk when you do that. You get blackmailed, you get sanctioned, your money gets devalued. Would rather die as soldiers than live as slaves. And now when Zimbabwe has been dragged to the bottom of the food chain, then the news goes on. If you try to do that, you will become another Zimbabwe. You will become another Zimbabwe. You see what we do with boys that don't obey? We can bring you down. Unfortunately, the people are the biggest investment any country has. And when people are resilient, people are steady and committed, there's nothing that can stop them from achieving the goals